A great number of Christians called Waldenses burned for the faith in Flanders AD 1421. Now, when the children of light who confess the doctrine of the Waldenses in the midst of the darkness of popery, footnote, the people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death light is sprung up, Matthew 4:16, end footnote, began to lift up their hands more and more in the Flemish countries, and to combat with the power of the word of God the errors of the Roman Church, and to reject principally papal authority, the Mass, transubstantiation, pilgrimages, the invocation of saints, purgatory, infant baptism, the swearing of oaths, revenge towards enemies, etc., as we stated concerning the belief of the Waldenses in the account for the 11th century. The prince and king of darkness, through the instrumentality of his satellites, laid his hands on them, and ultimately brought the matter so far that very many, who would in no wise, neither for life nor death, apostatize, were condemned to be burnt alive, which also was done with them, and thus they endured the trial of their faith with great steadfastness in the fire at Donau in Flanders in the year 1421, wherefore the captain of the faith, Jesus Christ, shall hereafter eternally crown them as pious champions with the unfading crown of honor, according to his promise, Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Revelation 2:10. Of the sacrifice of these friends mention is made in the second book of the history of the persecutions, where it said, At Donau in Flanders, AD 1421, a great number was discovered who professed the doctrine of the Waldenses, many of whom, remaining steadfast, were burnt alive. Note, whether those of Dort in Holland were also guilty at this time of the blood of the saints, we have not been able to ascertain. Nevertheless, the Lord severely chastised them in this year 1421, so that, through heavy floods, the city became an island, and was deprived of 72 villages that lay round about, and were all swallowed up in the water. Hence the following inscription is found carved on the outside of the Spewey gate of said city, over the arch in blue stone. All land and water which you see were 72 parishes, chronicles state, swallowed by water's resistless power, 1471 by date. This event is so generally known and has been described by so many authors that I deem it unnecessary to add anything by way of confirmation, a sad thing for the place of our birth. Note, AD 1423, at this time, writes P.J. Twisk, Henry Grunfelder was burnt for the truth in the city of Regensburg in Germany, and shortly after in the same city, Henry Rathgeber. AD 1425, about this time, Peter Torrea was executed at Speyer in Germany, and others in Roman countries, because they confessed the truth and opposed the Roman superstitions. AD 1427, at this time, Jerome Savonarola of Ferrara preached throughout Italy that the Pope was the Antichrist, for which he was burnt at Florence. He wrote some meditations on the 51st and 80th Psalms, in which he reproves the tyranny of the Pope and his clergy, saying that they are the boars and wild beasts of the field, which, according to the words of David, have devoured and utterly destroyed the Lord's vineyard, and wholly subverted the Church of God.